So let's create our shopping list, and here we are, we go. And what's gonna happen now? It's taking in consideration the dishes I'm used to cook and the ingredients, and it takes in consideration what I was eating or cooking last week, and because for my new schedule of next week, I don't want that it repeats what I'm actually ate already. So what is gonna happen? That's doing that. So it's gonna first read the first file, which I provided it here, and then it's reading the second file. Then it takes this information into consideration, and here we are. We have the full shopping list, and all of this costs us like 0.3 cents, which is nothing. One thing of decision making less in your life, so you can easily automate your life with AI agents. Okay, so let's create our dish scheduler. So first thing, what we're gonna need is we want to create our first agent. I think we start with the agents and then with the tasks, and then we go step by step through the whole process. So I actually prepared an agent, which is a very simple agent, which is the weekly dish planner. So basically this agent is, generate a weekly dish schedule based on past cooking habits and user preferences. As you saw in the demo, you kind of know what we want to do. So you're responsible for ensuring the user has a varied and satisfying meal plan each week while also considering special requests. So it's important to mention those special requests because we want that the user can give an input, and with this input give some preferences. So I think I'm just gonna show you already the inputs object, which will be then used later. So for example, in this case, create a new dish schedule for the next week, include one special meal that I did not cook yet. Yeah, so we don't want to follow very strictly the schedule which we have, or like the dishes we already cooked. We want one special meal included. And yeah, let's see if this actually gonna work. So we have our first agent and then the second agent, because what we want to do is we want to open some files. We want to access some data. So the second agent we're gonna need is a file reader. And this file reader will basically just open files, get the content, and then pass it to the dish planner. And the dish planner should, of course, use this data. So what kind of data we are talking about? So we have our dish list, and our dish list is basically, I prepared that here, a long list with all the dishes I want to cook during my week, and I added already the ingredients I'm buying for those. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna copy paste all of this, and then I'm just gonna pass it here in my dish list. And this is the information that's gonna be read. And yeah, basically that. And then we want, I also want to pass the last week schedule. So what I ate last week or what we prepared last week. And because I don't want that it does repeat again. I don't want to eat all of these things again next week. So this has to be considered too. So I created another file called last week's schedule, and I just added the data here. Okay, so we have our first two agents now. Let's do the tasks. So the first task is very simple. It's just like what we want to do is we want to read those two files. We want to read the dish list txt and the last week's schedule txt, and then pass this to the weekly dish planner. And what we want to do, we don't want it to do strange things with all of this. It's just a string at the end. The expected output is just a string. which gonna be passed. Here you can actually say, okay, I want like JSON or CSV or things like that, but for now we want to keep it very, very simple. So we just do it like that. And yeah, one thing, what is important, the file reader uses two tools, the docs tool and the file tool. And I'm gonna explain you now what are those two tools and how we're gonna use those. So we have these two tools which will be used. And we're gonna import them. Actually, I can do my imports now, I think. Sec. I want to do my imports. Here are my imports. Okay, so we have the docs tool. With the docs tool, it's a directory read tool. So with this, we just give it the location where this file is, actually where the folder is. So what we're gonna do is like, we have to copy the relative path of these two files. They're in the same folder. And then we're gonna pass it here. And we're gonna remove this part. So that's what's gonna happen is then it's gonna open this folder, checks which files are in this folder, and then the file read tool will be able to access those files and open them and get the data out of these files. So in this tutorial, we're gonna use actually two tools, or like kind of, yeah, we use actually only one tool and another mechanism that I'm gonna come to back later. So far what was happening, we have our two agents. We have the main agent, and this main agent, the dish planner agent, asks the file reader, okay, please open those two files and get me the data out of these files. This is this task. Then we want to proceed. And the next task will be a little bit more, will contain a little bit more information. It's a little bit more complex. And in this task, what we're gonna do? Based on the provided dish list and last week's schedule, the dish list we have here, the last week's schedule we have here, generate a new dish schedule for the next week. 7 suggestions in total. This is only for clarifying. That consider the preferences of the user's instruction. And here we're gonna add the user's instruction, which we defined here. Important, respect the information of the labels. Make sure to check with a human if the draft is good before finalizing your answer. So one thing what we want to do is when it comes up with a new schedule for the next week, we want to give our opinion to it. So for example, suggest some changes. For example, let's say it's suggesting the schedule, but actually we don't like tuna, we don't want tuna, or like we have a guest this week and this guest doesn't like tuna. We only want to change this one day, this Saturday, and then we're gonna change this one. We asked it to change it. And what else is important here? The output. What we want as the output is a tab separated text. Here you see it's tab separated, containing the schedule for the next week, including the ingredients needed for each dish. So here we have all the ingredients which is being added. What is very important when you're working with large language models, when you're prompting, is to give good examples. The better your examples are, the better your results will be. So in this case, I gave a very clear instruction how I actually want my output to be. And usually it does follow it. And yes, we have here our agent, which we put it here. And we have the human input equals true. And with this little setup, it will stop after it completed this task and then wait for the human input. So we will be able to write something and the agent's gonna consider this input from you, from the human. Okay, good. And then of course what we want at the finally at the end, we want our ingredients list, because then we want to have it very easy. We have to have our full week scheduled, and it just gives us the full shopping list, and we can just take the shopping list, go to the supermarket, and a full week of nice dishes, of your dishes are planned, and the shopping list is ready too. The shopping list you can then use yourself, go to the supermarket, buy it, or give it to someone else. Maybe even use like something like Uber Eats or something like that, and get the things for you. You can add another agent that, for example, writes an email and says, okay, person, please buy me those things, and then they will get delivered totally automatically for you, and the only thing what you have to do is to do the cooking and enjoy your meals. Okay, so the last task we want to add is the generate a shopping list task. So if the user approves the schedule, generate a shopping list based on the ingredients needed for the new schedule. All the ingredients are provided in the dish list. Don't invent new ingredients, only use the ingredients from the dish list. So, what is important? As we already defined the ingredients of each meal, or like how we personally used to cook those meals, we don't need to imagine things. Like, for example, here we put like 4 packages of tomatoes, and it does not, I mean, we want 4 packages of tomatoes for this dish. Or like, not 4 packages, sorry, 4 tomatoes for this dish. We don't want like smashed tomatoes or something like that, or like concentrated tomato pasta or things like that. No, we want 4 tomatoes. So that's why we ask it to exactly follow this once. And then the list, we want like a clear shopping list. Of course, you can always change the format of the shopping list. In this case, we want to look at that it looks like that. That's a very simple list. We can just go to the supermarket, do the checks, and get all of those things. Okay, so those have been the tasks. Now what we have to do is we're gonna connect the task in the crew. So we're gonna do this. We add our crew at the end. The crew. And here we want that it go through all of this sequentially, and we have those agents which are involved, which is the dish scheduler and the file reader. And the file reader, and then we have, first we read the data, then we generate scheduled task, and then we generate the shopping list. So this is all connected. What is missing now is our agent model. So in this case, for showing different outputs, or like that you can compare results, when I develop agents, I like to use like a very good model and a semi-good model, like powerful model, let's say. So in this case, we're gonna use the GPT-4o, like the frontier model of OpenAI, and the GPT-4o mini, which is a lot cheaper and less powerful. And with the agent workflows, if you're doing it very well, you don't even need the most powerful and most expensive models. You can even use the mini ones, like the smaller ones. And I think we will be able to get good results with this less powerful, less expensive model. We're gonna soon find out. So our agent model, so I'm gonna use a variable here. So our agent model is now the mini model, and we added here at our 2 agents. Good, perfect. So what is missing now? Let's see. One more thing. With the new update of CrewAi, they integrated Agent Ops. With Agent Ops, what is very nice, you can create, it's much easier to debug your agentic flows. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna import agent ops, which we already did, and we want to init it. So we call it here, we're gonna init it. And then at the end, we want to end the session. This is one more thing that you have to do. And well, actually we want to print our results too. So we have now our crew. And finally, what we want is we want to print our results. The results I forgot to. So yeah, results is in the results variable will be saved the results of the crew, what the crew is actually doing. So we print the results, we print the crew usage, some metrics like how many tokens we used, and at the end we finish the agent ops session. I think that should be everything for now. I think we are well covered, and I would say we just give it a try and see what's happening. And let's see if we like our results. So just for summarizing, or like for wrapping it up, what I'm gonna tell it: create a new dish schedule for next week, include one special meal that I did not cook yet. Let's see if it's able to follow that, and we're gonna start it. The good thing of ChatGPT 4 Mini is that it is pretty fast. It's a lot faster than 4.0. And yeah, let's see. So actually this is pretty fast. So here it's opened the first file, the dish list txt, and we have those data here. Then the next thing that it opened, what it opened is the last week's schedule. And then it comes up actually with a suggestion, I would say. Okay, it's going a little bit here in a loop. Don't know why this is happening. This sometimes happens, so the only thing what you have to do, you just start it again and see what's happening. Okay, now we have our schedule. After some going back and forth, it came up with the result. And we want to have, I don't want to eat lasagna. Next week, I don't want to eat lasagna. Leave everything else how it is. What's going wrong there? Okay, so finally it came up with a new schedule for the week, which is the following. We have our shopping list, and let's say where's our schedule. So we're gonna have Bolognese, Tomatensuppe, Kürbissuppe, Linsensuppe, Schnitzel, Auflauf und Frühlingsrun. It removed the lasagna, and I think that's a good result. So, of course there's room for improvement. Sometimes those agents are a little bit like, they kind of do whatever they want. And yeah, still I'm happy with the workflow. I hope you liked it, and if you liked it, feel free to leave a like and even subscribe. Ciao, ciao.